Hey everyone, welcome to our December luncheon. Super excited to have David Santiago from America's Job Center. We're going to share with us. It is December, so definitely some people are already out and about doing things. And it's raining today, which never happens in Ridgecrest. My son on the way to school was complaining about the rain because he wanted to ride his bike. And I was like, well, if it gets to be any colder, you're going to hate riding your bike home. So we'll drop you off today. But he was complaining about the rain. He's like, can't it rain somewhere else? I'm like, we're in a drought. It's good that it rains. Hopefully we'll get snow up in the mountains. But today, just excited to have the chance to have David share. A couple months back, Rebecca McCourt and I had an opportunity to go and connect with David at his office and hear about some of the things that they provide to the employers' resources, and just kind of stood out as a great resource for our community in Kern County and specifically Ridgecrest. So I'm super excited to hear what he has to say. We are recording this session to make it available for those that were unable to join us this morning. I guess this afternoon because it's 12:04. We'll have that available. I'll put that up on our YouTube page later on, and that'll be available to be able to refer back. If we don't have a great attendance today, but we have some interest, maybe we'll be able to invite David back to share again. We're hoping to, the chamber board was hoping to be able to move our luncheons back in person beginning in January. So we will take a look at that, at the temperature of the culture. I know that today the governor rolled out mandates to wear masks for everybody indoors. So we'll have to play that a little bit by ear. So next month, we're hoping to be back in person at the USO building, but we'll let the board make that decision right on before we hit that date. But plan to do that. We actually have Eric. Eric, you were popped on earlier, right? Eric LaBarbie. I think I said your name right. You are going to share with us next month, right? Did I say your last name right?
It's LaBarbie, yeah. So
okay, great. So Eric, will you give us a quick statement of what you're going to share with us next month at our luncheon?
Sure. I'm the supervisor of the Oasis Family Resource Center. We are part of CAPK, a nonprofit. We're new to Ridgecrest because we opened last May. So we help a lot of family in need. So we'll tell you the scope of our work, what we do, and we serve families in the community.
That's great. We're looking forward to having you with us next month. But today we have David with us, and he's going to share a little bit about the resources that are available for our employers as they look at bringing on new staff members. So I'll just turn it over to you, David, and you can share your screen if you have a presentation, and following it, if we have time, we can do some question and answer.
Certainly, and thank you for the opportunity, Tim, and thank you all for attending today. Like Tim said, I'm hoping to give you guys some insight into our organization and the benefits that are available to you as employers. Let me go ahead and get this set up for you folks. All right, and I just want to make sure everybody can see that clearly.
Looks good to me.
Awesome. So yes, my presentation today is entitled Employer Services Through Kern County's Employers Training Resource at America's Job Center. Now, I know that's a bit of a mouthful, and what I'm hoping to do today is to explain what the America's Job Center system is as a whole, what Employers Training Resource is as an agency, and the services afforded to you, the employers. So before I begin, I want to give you a little bit of insight into my background. I myself was raised in Ridgecrest. I'm a graduate of Burroughs High School as well as Saracosa Community College. I then went on and transferred to UC Irvine, where I obtained my Bachelor's of Science in Biological Sciences. Following that, I went to work in the recruitment field for about 4 years. I did time with a large marketing firm in Irvine and later with a supply chain management company in the aerospace industry. I have staffed for a variety of positions through all 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska, as well as Canada. So I've staffed everything from the folks handing out samples at Costco all the way up to project management engineers. So I've run the gamut, and I know what it is to recruit in some of these more isolated areas. And I think Ridgecrest in many ways can be viewed as that, especially when it comes to higher skilled positions that you're trying to staff. We're about 2.5 hours away from major metropolitan area. So it can be tough when you're trying to fill positions that are a little bit higher in skill set. So hopefully with the benefits that we're sharing here today, you'll be able to use those to offset some of those difficulties, especially in these unprecedented times when it's just so tough to staff positions. Currently, I work as a job developer and service business representative with Kern County's Employers Training Resource. Now, I want to start off by explaining what America's Job Center is as a whole. Now, I do want to mention that America's Job Center is a national system, and every state organizes that system differently. And as you can see by the banner below, specifically, I'm referring to America's Job Center of California. Now, even within California, every region organizes their centers to whatever their standard might be. So I can only speak for Kern County today. I'm not sure specifically what Los Angeles or San Bernardino might be doing, although I'm sure their services are comparable. But for our purposes here in Kern County, you can think of the America's Job Center as a one-stop center where we are looking to help employers as well as job seekers. We do that through a variety of services. Now, the America's Job Center is composed of various state and county agencies. You can think of it as kind of a conglomerate of these agencies. Some of those include the Employment Development Department, or the state EDD. We have representatives from the California State Department of Rehabilitation, as well as Kern County's Department of Human Services, and of course, my organization, Employers Training Resource, just to name a few. And as our mission statement states, our goal is to provide quality, integrated, seamless, and accessible and professional employment services for employers and job seekers. So to highlight specifically, today I'm going to be talking about Employers Training Resource, which is the agency I'm a part of. And we're a department within the County of Kern. And you can think of us as the administrative arm of the Kern, Inyo, and Mono Counties Workforce Development Board. So our goal is to help local job seekers meet the needs of the local economy, whether that's through helping them sharpening their skills to make sure that they're the best fit candidate, potentially offering pathways for training, and then of course helping businesses directly in the hiring process. Now, I do want to mention that our services are at no cost to employers and job seekers alike. Although we are a county entity, our funding comes from the Department of Labor. So this is your tax dollars at work to invest into the local economy and further boost that. So before I get into the services available to employers, I do briefly want to touch on the job seeker services in case you might have a potential candidate that needs some assistance in fine-tuning their resume for a position you might have, or maybe you have a family or acquaintance that member that needs some assistance. Again, our services are no cost, and we can help with everything from creating resumes to editing resumes. We can help with job search and job search techniques. We can assist with mock interviews and coaching clients for those interviews. We also do provide avenues for training. We can provide funding so our clients can train and meet the needs of our local economy. We also have work search skill related workshops. And we have recently started a career closet, although unfortunately it's put on hold. But hopefully here soon, once COVID restrictions lift, we'll re-accept donations so we can provide some clothing to those that might not have and make sure that they're able to attend those interviews as professional as possible. We provide typing certificates, referral to our partner agencies, and we do have a fully equipped resource room with many computer stations, as well as equipment to help our clients with disabilities, photocopiers, scanners, fax machine, everything to really help to make sure that our job-seeking clients are successful in their job search. So now I'm going to move into the services that are available to employers here in the area. And where I want to begin is with CalJobs. And CalJobs is a great system where you can go ahead and post your job openings. You can source candidates. You can think of it as the California state system where we can organize the benefits available to job seekers and employers alike. It's a 24/7 system, so you can log on anytime. Once you've created an account, you can post as many job openings as you'd like. You can source for candidates and look at resumes, as well as contact potential applicants. it's just another great way to get more exposure and views on your positions and your openings, which we all know how valuable that is. Now, I do want to mention that recipients that are eligible for unemployment insurance through the EDD are mandated to post their resumes to CalJobs. And when somebody is eligible for unemployment benefits, it usually means they were laid off of no fault of their own. So these are great candidates that are available to you. And it runs the gamut. I've seen candidates that, are recent high school graduates that were laid off from their first job, all the way up to PhD holders that, maybe their assignment ended and now they're looking on to get onto a new assignment. So it really runs the gamut. And the great thing is you can actually search these resumes by those that have been most recently updated. So you can have first pick of those candidates that are fresh to the job market and might be really looking to get back into to work. Now, along with posting positions and sourcing for candidates, CalJobs is a great resource for labor data and statistics. It includes wages information, employment rates, job outlooks, really just a wealth of information that you can use to answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you're trying to determine whether your pay rate is competitive in your industry. Maybe you're trying to forecast for the future. The information and data is all there for you to use and compile as you need. So as far as creating a CalJobs account, it's pretty straightforward. You'll want to visit caljobs.ca.gov. And as you can see here, when you go to the actual website, you'll want to click on the sign in button here, and it'll take you down to the page where you could go ahead and create the account. You'll want to go down to option 3 and select employer. And you'll see that it requests your Employment Development Department account number, so your EDD account number. What I will say is make sure that you have the correct number on hand. That's typically where I see employers have the most issues. They'll either provide their federal tax ID or they'll provide a wrong number. And that just basically holds up your account from being approved, because the account does have to be approved by CalJobs. Once it is approved and you get it up and running, you're free to use it as you see fit. If you do run into any issues while you're creating your account, or if you see that your account's not been approved, you can always reach out to me directly. I will provide you with the contact number for the CalJobs assistant line to make sure we get your account up and running. Now, as far as creating an account, it's important because really when you create the CalJobs account, it gives you access to all of our services, including the on-the-job training program. So you're really maximizing the benefits that are available to you by creating that CalJobs account. Now, once the account is created, I have had employers that, might not be as quote unquote tech savvy, or they just don't like using, computer systems. We can actually post a position on your behalf. We can send you a PDF or a paper document that you can fill out and send back to us. And I can go in onto your account and post it on the behalf of your opening. And once that account's posted, we can then start referring candidates to you to that position. Whether you want us to pre-screen those candidates or send them over, we basically follow your direction on that. But it's just a great way to get additional views on that position. We can also print out the opening and actually put it physically into our resource room where we have our clients come in, and then they have it clearly displayed to them. So again, just additional visibility. But beyond that, we can also post it within our job developer network that spans the entirety of Kern County, and that includes offices in Bakersfield, Delano, Taft, Mojave, and Lake Isabella, just to name a few locations. And I know for higher skill set level positions, this may be very invaluable, right? Kern County is the 3rd largest county in California, and it has a variety of industries. You have mining to the south in boron in Mojave. You have aerospace in Mojave. You have solar in California City. You have the windmill technology over in Tehachapi. And of course, West Kern has the oil industry. So there's a lot of talent here in Kern County, as well as your standard industries, healthcare, administrative. So it's just a great way to cast a wide net, especially if you're looking to staff for career long-term positions. You may be able to attract some of this talent to those roles. Now, for larger scale recruitments, so for multiple openings or larger scale recruitments, we can actually further promote these openings through our various marketing streams. So we do have social media accounts, and we have accounts set up with various different entities, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We actually do a weekly live stream through Facebook, and we call it Job Squad. It's actually streamed every Thursday at 9 a.m. And it's a great way for potential job seekers to learn more about your company as well as the job openings. We try to tell folks a little bit about the company itself as well as the openings. So again, just more visibility for your openings. In addition to that, we do have weekly TV and radio segments. We do have 2 TV segments, one on KGE TV at 17 at 6 a.m. on Tuesdays, and one at KBAK TV 29 at 6:45 a.m. And in addition, we also post on the Scott Cox radio show on 11:80 a.m. on Mondays at 8 a.m. So if you're looking to promote larger recruitments, we can use these avenues to further get the word out. Now, as far as actual on-site recruitments, we can have employers use our office here in Ridgecrest to host recruitments as well as on-site interviews. We can accommodate almost any size event. I've seen, employers come in and do one-on-one interviews with a handful of candidates, and then we've had large-scale recruitment events where we've had upwards of 250, candidates show up. Just to give you an example, back in 2019, I believe we had NAVFAC host a recruitment event in our office where we coordinated with folks in Bakersfield as well as people from the EDD to coordinate that recruitment. And I believe we had upwards of 250 candidates that came into our office for that event, and it went smoothly. It was very successful. Although that's not the norm, I showcased that just to show you that we are equipped to meet your needs, and we're going to do our best. Whatever you need, we'll do our best to accommodate and meet those needs. Now, the on-site office is great because not all employers here have a physical location, or maybe their facilities are a little bit smaller, or especially for folks that primarily do business on the China Lake base. It's easier to get folks into our office than sometimes getting them approval to go onto the base. So it's just another avenue to further help our local employers. Now, I do want to mention that unfortunately right now, due to the COVID restrictions, we aren't doing those on-site events, but I'm very hopeful that in the coming year, as restrictions continue to lift, that will become an option once again. I know we do have personnel in West Kern in our Bakersfield offices that have held virtual recruitments that were very successful. And I'm more than happy to partner with them if necessary. If that's an option you'd like to pursue, it would be a great learning opportunity for me. And again, we will do our best to help you out regardless of the situation. So now we get to the on-the-job training program. Now, this program is really great for those candidates that, they have a great foundation, they have a great attitude, but maybe they're missing a few key skills here and there. Maybe they're meeting about 65 to 75% of your job announcement, or maybe you're dealing with somebody who's a recent graduate. So again, great foundation, but maybe missing a few skill sets. If you have the capacity to train that person in-house and teach them those missing skills, then the on-the-job training program may be perfect for you. And basically what the on-the-job training program is, it's a no-cost program that enables businesses to hire qualified employees and be reimbursed at least 50% of the wages for that employee during the training period. Now, keep in mind that reimbursement rate can be higher depending on available grants, as well as whether the employer and candidate meet certain criteria. But at least you're walking away with 50% reimbursement for those training wages. And the best thing about the program is that you are the boss. You call the shots. You determine who gets hired on. Even if we assist you in the recruitment, you have the final say of who gets hired on. And you can actually come to us with a candidate that you found. And if you want to hire them on and utilize the program, we can enroll them and get them started on that program. So program benefits, before I get into the actual program benefits, with this program, it's a great opportunity to take an employee and invest in an employee, right? When you invest into an employee, they're going to be more grateful to you. They're more likely to stick around long term. And in addition, you get to train them exactly as you want them to be trained. They may have previous knowledge from a previous company, but they may have their own standard of operations, their own way of doing things. This way, you're training them to meet your business needs exactly as you need them met. Again, the reimbursement rate is listed at least 50%, although it can be higher. Now, we reimburse for actual hours worked. So that doesn't include any free days or overtime, vacation, sick, or holiday pay. That's not reimbursed. It actually has to be hands-on worked hours. Now, the typical duration for a contract is 480 hours, which comes out to 12 weeks if you're looking at a typical 40-hour work week. However, exceptions can be made in the duration for higher skill level occupations. We do that through ONET, or the Occupational Information Network. We'll look up the job title and see, how rigorous the position is. Of course, the training for, an engineering tech would be usually more substantial than an office assistant or something along those lines. So we will adjust accordingly. We can adjust the contract for more involved positions. So just a quick breakdown. If you hire an employee on at the minimum rate, which is $15 per hour, that's the minimum wage that you would have to pay for the contract. So that would come out to about $7.50 an hour. So if you're looking at 480 hours, that's a reimbursement of $3,600, a check directly back to you, the employer, for that training. Now, if we boost that up to 75%, you're looking at $5,400 back in your pocket. So it really depends on, the reimbursement percentages available at that time. Grants, new grants come up, and there might be further opportunity to increase that dollar amount. But even at the 50% reimbursement, you're still getting a sizable reimbursement. And of course, as your wages increase, that reimbursement rate also increases as well. Currently, we've implemented this program all throughout West Kern, including in the Bakersfield area. More recently, we've started moving it here into East Kern. We do have 2 current contracts with a contracting company out on China Lake. So we're really trying to push to bring this program here to East Kern to help employers out here. We're beginning here in Ridgecrest, but eventually we do want to roll it out to the neighboring communities as well, like California City and such. But that's kind of our big aim currently. So in order to utilize the program, again, you must have a CalJobs account. That's why I would recommend to just go ahead and create an account, because it'll save you time in the long run. As far as the positions that are eligible for this program, they have to be permanent full-time positions. And what we consider full-time is at least 32 hours per week. As far as the minimum wage, it has to pay at least $15 an hour. Now, as far as I understand, there's no upper limit. If your position pays substantially higher, then we can still accommodate that. I haven't heard of any upper limits. So feel free to contact me for any position that you might have in mind. I'm sure we can make it work. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that the trainee has to be paid at the same rate or comparable to employers in the same job title. So they have to be around that same ballpark number. It can't be something dramatically different, whether higher or lower. It has to be in that ballpark range. Applicants also cannot be a relative either by blood, adoption, or marriage for any executive or supervisor employed by the employer. So there is a nepotism exception. And commission-only pay or 1099 contract employees are not eligible for the role. And as far as the number of contracts you can actually hold, OJT contracted employees cannot make up more than 50% of your workforce. However, keep in mind that we do factor in part-time employees into that total employee count. So although they're not eligible for the program, it helps offset the number of contracts that you can have. So we do factor them in. Now, employers do have to maintain certain insurances. First, they do have to maintain workers' compensation insurance. They also have to provide automobile liability insurance. However, if the position is a non-driving position, we can do a waiver to get around that. And you also have to show a certificate of commercial general liability insurance. So those are the 3 typical insurances you would have to maintain. So as far as how to start the contract, what you would want to do if you are interested in pursuing a contract, reach out to me directly and we can go over the documentation that we'll need to collect from you, the employer, to start the process. I do my best to streamline it, and I will say the first contract's probably going to be the lengthiest one as far as the startup involved, just because we're kind of setting the foundation. But subsequent contracts from then on out become much easier because you've already laid down the foundation. And it's just a matter of really collecting the documentation from the client that you're hiring on. And just something to keep in mind, you want to make sure that the applicant is processed prior to the start date. So we have to have them enrolled prior to their first day of work. So if possible, allow for at least 2 to 3 weeks prior to the start date. I know it's sometimes tough to do so, but that's going to ensure that we're able to register them and process them in the state system, as well as collect all the appropriate documentation to make sure that there's no hindrance in the starting process. So typically I say 2 to 3 weeks, 3 weeks in a perfect world. 2 weeks, I'll do my best to work with you on that, but that's the general range that we would need to start the contracts themselves. So That said, I want to go ahead and provide you folks with my contact information. I'm sure Tim can send that out to the membership as well. But there is my work cell. That's the best number to reach me at, or you can email me directly at santiagod@kerncounty.com. And I will be more than happy to answer any questions regarding the on-the-job training program or any of the other services that we have available and are available to employers here in the area. As far as our office, we are located at 540 West Purdue Avenue, Suite B2 here in Ridgecrest. For those of you that are local, that's right next to the Ridgecrest DMV. So with that said, if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to take some time to answer those. So let me go ahead and return back. And again, thank you so much for your time. If anybody has any questions, feel free.
David?
Yeah.
If my office already has an account with you, does each individual person have to have an account to log in, or is there?
No, you should be able to use the main account for your business to post the positions. So that's what I would recommend, actually, because it's easier to keep track of all the openings. I know for some businesses, I've seen that they have multiple accounts, pardon. But if you keep it under one account, if you run into any issues, it makes it easier for me or the staff at EDD CalJobs to further assist you.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Well done.
And if nobody else has any questions, I understand that I may have covered quite a bit of information in a short amount of time. I can also send out some of our marketing flyers that outline the services that we have available, so you can kind of review them at your leisure. And then again, if you have any questions or would like to explore those options further, you can reach out to me directly, and I'll do my best to assist.
I have a question for you, David, but it's not related to this.
No problem. Yeah, feel free.
Are you related to Pedro?
Yes, I am. That's my younger brother. Yeah. Yeah.
And your sister's Gloria?
No, my sister is Erica Santiago. She's with the department.
Erica, that's right. It's
no,
Erica.
totally fine.
And then you have another brother, John. All of
John,
them have been in
we've kind of infiltrated different institutions here in the area. Yeah.
Yes, I love your mother.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
She's
that.
a sweetheart.
Thank you very much. I'll pass that along. I appreciate that.
Hey, David, I had a question. When you were talking about CalJobs and signing up, you referenced that you needed a number that was not your federal identification number. Can you tell us what number is that and where do we access that number?
So that would be your EDD account number. Let me double check. I know there's a little bubble here where you can request that information. So you can locate the number on your form DE 2088. So that would be the Notice of Contribution Rates and Statement of UI Reserve Account. It's basically the tax ID number that you use when you register with the state. If you run into any issues, I don't have the number on hand, but I do know that there's a phone number you could call in and get that number directly for your business. So I apologize, I don't have that number now, but if anybody does run into that issue, send them my way and I'll get them that contact number.
Yeah, that was just something I was like, oh yeah, the FIN number, and then you're like, it's specifically not the FIN. Oh, okay, I don't know what that is. Well, so there might be others that would have that same question.
No, and I appreciate you bringing that up because that's typically the biggest hurdle that I've seen in getting the account approved is that they provide an incorrect number, and then it takes time to go in and troubleshoot it. It just makes it a little bit easier, but regardless, I mean, it's not anything we can't handle or help out with.
Yeah.
I actually do have that number if you'd like it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
877-622-4997.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill. Well, David, I really do appreciate you taking time. I think some of the programs that you offer are really invaluable to our community and to our businesses. And I appreciate you taking time to share that. And I hope that we can get this back out to more people to connect and be able to utilize the resource that is really available to them.
Well, I appreciate that, Tim. And I really do appreciate the time. And of course, again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. That's what we're here for. We're here to help out, and we're really hoping to bring these services more to East Kern, and especially here in Ridgecrest. Being from Ridgecrest, I do have a soft spot for us, and I want to do our best to help out our community. So
it's awesome. It's awesome. Thank you, David.
Thank you, sir.
if there's no other questions, then maybe we'll just wrap up a little early and let people go out and get their takeout lunch on their own today. But if you haven't been out, drive safe today, as it's finally actually rained and the roads might be a little bit more slick than we're used to. But everybody have a great holiday season, and we'll look forward to hopefully gathering again in person for our next luncheon in January when we have Eric Lavarby share, and looking forward to our Economic Outlook Conference, which is scheduled for February 24th. And that also is planned to be in person. So looking forward to it. Have a great holiday and be well.
Thank you.